Let's see. I spy with my little eye something mediocre.
Mediocre?
How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I have one question. Why do the big guys always get stuck in mediocre comedies? My Spy, directed by Peter Segal, stars Dave Bautista, Chloe Coleman, and Kristen Schaal in this action comedy spy film. It follows a CIA agent known as JJ who is tasked with keeping surveillance on a girl named Sophie and her mother in hopes to track down the girl's criminal uncle. Now, I want to start off by saying that I was mainly interested in this film due to the fact that Dave Bautista was in it, and considering that he's one of my favorite actors, I had to check out this movie. But apart from that, something else about this film that's very interesting is its history. Originally, we were supposed to get this film all the way back in August of 2019, but it was later delayed to April of 2020. Of course, due to the pandemic, the film was pushed back once again, which pushed Amazon to purchase distribution rights to the film. Countries including Australia and the UK got earlier release dates, but since I'm in the US, the film for me only came out a few days ago, and with that, I finally got the chance to check it out. And what did I think about it? Let's just say it wasn't worth the wait. Now for me, I'm a big WWE fan. As you can see back there, for my wrestling fans, you can see I have a Money in the Bank briefcase, and I also have a wrestler poster right there. And as we've seen with WWE wrestlers turn actors such as John Cena, Dwayne Johnson, and in this case Batista, it seems they can't escape the roles of big strong dudes co-starring with little kids in mediocre comedies. Of course, we got Dwayne Johnson in Tooth Fairy, which, by the way, Dwayne Johnson is my favorite actor of all time, also my man crush. We also got John Cena in Playing with Fire, which, as we all know, was a complete bomb. And now we have Dave Bautista in My Spy. And like I stated before, Bautista was the main reason I wanted to check out this film. The guy definitely has talent, as we've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy with Drax, and his performances in other films always keep me entertained. Unfortunately, though, not even the charm of one of my favorite wrestlers could save this movie. When the film starts, we get to see Bautista engage in a pretty badass shootout on the Russian mafia, which I found to be pretty enjoyable with all the jokes from JJ and classic action sequences. But then we find out that one of the members, Victor Marquez, may have plans for nuclear bombs and has plans to sell them to a Middle Eastern terrorist. JJ's boss, David Kim, played by Ken Jeong, assigns Bautista to spy on the in-law family of Marquez, hoping that they would be in on the plan as well. Unfortunately, the surveillance goes wrong when the daughter, Sophie, discovers one of the hidden cameras and discovers the location of where Bautista is spying on her and her mom. This pushes her to record JJ and blackmail him with the footage. And unfortunately, I think this is the point in the movie where it just starts to go downhill. First of all, the movie is labeled as action comedy, which we obviously see in the very beginning with the shootout. Hell, there's even a moment where Ken Jeong shows a poorly rendered severed head from the shootout. And that's when I started to think, oh wow, if this is the type of level of action sequences we're going to get in this movie, I'm definitely interested. But, oh boy, was I wrong. After the moment that Sophie discovers Bautista in the hideout, this, unfortunately, is the moment where the movie is really catered towards the kids. About an hour of this movie is just dedicated to Bautista helping Sophie find friends, and despite having poor social skills, it comes out to be a difficult task for Bautista. There's even moments when the kid wants to learn how to be a spy and learn some classic action movie cliches such as walking away from explosions. But for me, the sequences just felt super dragged out and they weren't as funny as I'd hoped they would be. It's about as cliche as it gets with this buddy comedy movie. However, I think the movie wasn't as funny as I had expected it to be, mainly because of watching the trailer. Unfortunately, like most trailers do, it made the common mistake of showing off most of the funny bits in the movie. And something like Batista dancing during the movie, that made me laugh really hard in the trailer. But in the movie, it was just a light chuckle. And the sequence itself only lasted about 10 seconds, so I really felt like there wasn't enough time for me to get into the joke and enjoy it as much as I did in the trailer. Bautista is someone that I admire due to his charm and his clear passion for the work he puts in for each performance. But here, it was quite a shame that he didn't have a whole lot to work with. After the whole hour of Bautista bonding with the kid, the action sequence after is pretty standard and doesn't live up to the level of action that was shown in the beginning of the movie. It's played off pretty PG for the kids, and it's also not as interesting enough for the adults to watch. And considering that the beginning, like I said earlier, had a big shootout to begin with, and also a severed head, that's pretty hardcore for a movie aimed at all audiences. And look, if you're gonna have someone big and tough like Bautista in your movie, I'd hope to see more action sequences with him instead of saving it just for the beginning and leaving him with a bunch of comedy that didn't really work to begin with. Also, if you're gonna have talent such as Ken Jeong and Kristen Schaal in your movie, maybe utilize them a little bit more instead of having them pushed off to the side for the comedic bits. With someone like Ken Jeong, he probably only gets about, 5 to 10 minutes of screen time, and with a movie that's heavily based on comedy, you'd think that Ken Jeong would have a little bit more screen time and, deliver some funny lines. But it was such a shame to see it not happen in this movie. As with someone like Kristen Schaal, she plays off of Bautista's comedy very well, such as when he teaches the kid how to be a spy and not her. But those moments come very rarely in this movie, and, it was kind of disappointing. Overall, though, if you're looking for a film where you can watch Bautista be a badass and engage in some fun action sequences, you're probably better off skipping this film. With My Spy, it doesn't seem to quite hit the landing as much as it wants to, and seeing that the comedy didn't really work for most of the movie, as well as it undermining the action in this movie, it was pretty disappointing to see. It also misses out on many opportunities to use some well-casted talent correctly in a movie. Sending this movie straight to video on demand, just like Artemis Fowl, was probably the best choice, considering that it seems like that's the exact quality you're getting with this movie. A cliched movie that seemed to miss the mark more than land it. I'm gonna go ahead and give My Spy 5 out of 10 hand grenades.
This looks like the wedding at the end of Shrek.
But I'd love to know, what do you guys think of My Spy? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you not care to watch it? I'd love to know in the comments below. And if you made it this far in the video, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for some more future movie content. Thank you guys for joining me in this review. And until the next one, you guys, I'll see you later.